Fashion and clothes are many middle-aged men's nightmare, but getting your style right is crucial not only in making a good impression, but in feeling good about yourself too.
In this episode, we talk to top men's stylist Sarah Gilfillan of Sartoria Lab about the do's and don'ts of midlife men's fashion, faux pas and dressing for the occasion, whether that's the boardroom, a weekend or a romantic date. We share tips on finding your colour palette, how clothing can transform your confidence, shopping for yourself, and lots more we know you're going to find fascinating. Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
And me, Claire. I have noticed that it's now you always introducing us. We're back to that, aren't we?
Always. I'll let you go first.
It's only been 3.5, actually nearly 4 years, and you always introduce yourself first. Well, most of the time. I think I've had about 3.
Age before beauty, some might say, Claire.
I would say that. I would say that too. Well done. Thank you. So what have we been up to? We've just been getting our podcast out thick and fast, haven't we? And yeah, we've had so much of a lovely response. We had our Liz Earle podcast that we were on. It was very, very wonderful to be invited onto Liz Earle's podcast, and we were on that. So we've got lots and lots of new people in our world from that. So if you're listening from Liz Earle's podcast and you're here, thank you for joining us. Welcome. And we've had lots of wonderful guests, and we've got another wonderful guest today.
We have. So today we're looking at style, and particularly midlife men's style, which is a bit of a minefield. We've all seen those fashion faux pas, particularly us. We've lived in Ibiza and Marbella, and you see some shockers, don't you, Claire? Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna dive in. So we've got Sarah Gilfillan of Sartoria Lab here. Sarah, welcome.
Hi there. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being here. So we're going to be talking about the minefield that James just said of midlife men and their fashion. I think I'm quite lucky with you, to be quite honest with you. You're pretty fashionable.
Well, I like to think so. You criticise my scarves that I wear.
Oh, he does, yes.
A good neck scarf.
Why? How can you criticise a scarf?
Oh, yes, thank you, Sarah. I love you already.
Oh, no, Sarah. I think it's the way that you styled them in Ibiza. I'm not quite sure Sarah would agree with the way that you styled it.
She would.
How did you style it? Tell me.
Well, I like to loop it and then put the end through the loop and just have it like around the neck.
Oh, I know. Yeah. That's quite classic, isn't it?
Yeah, classic look. Thank you. I think we should wearing a t-shirt. It's going to set off quite nicely a flash of colour.
I prefer James's style. We will dive into this in a second, Sarah. Sorry, but I've just been given the opportunity to talk about James's style on air. I do like it when you're in your little waistcoat thing. Didn't I buy you that?
You did.
I did. You bought a gorgeous waistcoat. That's a nice style of yours. I like that. So everyone, you heard that. Out in public, that's the style I like James wearing, but he probably won't.
Okay,
when you say, can I just interrupt? When you say waistcoat, do you mean like a gilet type waistcoat?
No.
What sort of waistcoat?
It's a nice kind of like bluey grey tweed.
Okay.
A shirt with some nice jeans.
Yeah.
Robe, the waistcoat, a little
Isn't it like a little fox
lapel,
fox pin that I gave you as well, and it looks very dapper in there.
Well,
but given what we do,
Sarah's about to say that waistcoats are a no-go.
It's okay. I wasn't going to say that.
Well, given what we do,
then there's my big 90s knitted Chandler style ones. No, I'm joking.
No.
We don't wear those.
But I don't often see you in suits and dressed up, really, because we're always in workout gear or working at home.
So let's get into this. Sarah, what should midlife men be wearing, and what are some of the mistakes that commonly you see when you're working with your clients?
So what should they be wearing? It's a bit of it's a big area, isn't it? Depends who they are and what they're doing and what their lifestyle is a bit. I think if possible, they wear things that suit them and their colours and everything. What I think they shouldn't wear is I think they shouldn't try and follow fashion too slavishly and go the whole hog. I think they can take parts of that, unless they're super confident, like Jeff Goldblum or someone like that, that dresses like really outlandishly, but manages to carry it off really well. So I think if they can sort of take elements of the fashion kind of part, and the whole sort of silhouette of fashion changes. So it's gone from like being really skinny. So I remember I was styling, sort of trying to get guys out of like wide leg straight jeans into slimmer cut jeans. We weren't going super skinny, but we were generally going for sort of a slimmer cut, just because it looked much more modern rather than sort of super fashionable. It looked much more modern. So now it's sort of going back a little bit the other way. So I think menswear takes a long time to move on, much longer than women's. So I think I'm kind of slowly maybe moving them to, so maybe we're getting some pleat front chinos, which were a big no-no a while ago, but now, you know, a tapered leg, maybe one pleat, kind of coming back into fashion again. So yeah, so I think they should take an element of that. I think one key thing is the fit of clothes. That's the, like, however old they are. I think if you get the fit completely wrong, then it's going to, you can be wearing a super expensive suit or whatever it is, and if the fit's wrong, then I think that can really sort of damage the outfit. Things I'd say no to are sort of being too, I like a sort of coordinated look, like you were saying with your scarf, it sort of brings the colours in and stuff. But I don't like it when it's too matchy. So the other day I saw someone, I can't remember the colour exactly, but it was something like a bright turquoise t-shirt and then bright turquoise trainers that were exactly the same colour. And I kind of thought, yeah, it's a bit much, you know, maybe if you had navy trainers or something sort of was a few shades off. Yeah. But I felt like that was too sort of matchy to be, yeah, it looks a bit awful.
I'm glad you said that, actually, because bless my mom dresses my dad, but she tried to dress me the same way, but everything has to be matching. So if it's green shirt, it has to be green trousers and green shoes, and I'm just like, it looks terrible.
That sounds a bit much. Yeah.
It did look terrible. So Sarah, what's the biggest kind of fear or concern when men come to you for styling help? What's the biggest fear and concern that they have?
So I suppose the thing that they say to me most, because most guys, I mean, I've got like ones at either end of the scale, but most of the guys that come to me are, say, late 30s and kind of older to sort of 50s. So what they always say to me is, I don't want to dress like I'm still at university, but I don't want to dress like my dad or your dad.
Yes.
Yeah, so they don't want to be dressing too old, but they don't want to dress in like sort of hoodies and jeans and scruffy trainers. They want somewhere that mid kind of level, but they don't know how to do it. So that's where I come in and help them to do it.
And you see them really change in their level of confidence, because we know as women that, I mean, I 100% need some styling advice, because I end up just wearing.
You always look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. But it's the same. I know that if I have a stylist go out with me shopping and put me in different clothes that I would never wear, it would feel fabulous, and I would feel kind of born again and anew and really, really confident in my own skin, because I'm wearing something I don't normally wear.
Yeah.
But do you see that in men as well, that once they're in something that, like you said, fits correctly and is the right colour for them, what happens to their confidence?
Yeah, so normally you maybe don't see it immediately. Occasionally I can tell they come out of the fitting room and they're looking in the mirror, and you can tell that they're thinking, I look hot in that.
Yeah.
So, which is really nice, this sort of, chest puffed out a little bit more, standing a bit straighter. So it's really nice to be able to see that. And that's like such a brilliant part of my job. And then afterwards, when they email me and they say, like, so I got an email brilliant email, so happy, the other day from a client that I'd taken shopping. And he said this woman crossed the road to tell him that he looked good in his outfit. I was like,
wow.
oh my God, that's amazing. And he's like, I think he's mid-50s or something. So I was like, oh, that's amazing. And lots of people say, oh yeah, I've had loads of compliments, especially from other women. And they've said it's made them feel more confident. So I remember someone that was pitching for some money, and he said it made him feel much more confident because he felt it was a suit he was wearing, but he wasn't like a typical sort of banker type suit. So I think we got something like kind of slightly offbeat, and it really sort of suited him. So he said he felt much more confident. So yeah, I think they get that afterwards, and especially when people sort of notice what they're wearing, and they're always saying, oh yeah, I never would have picked that out, but it's my favorite thing now. So yeah, that's such a brilliant part of the job, because it's so nice to be able to just sort of suggest those things and help people like that. Yeah, so it's, yeah, love that part of it.
So when you work with clients, do they come to you for like, oh, I've got a specific, like I've got a presentation or I've got a date and help me get my outfit for that? Or is it more like, oh, I'd like you to help me overhaul my wardrobe? So this is kind of what I need for business, but this is my weekends, my dress down. Or is it?
Yeah, it's usually a bit more general, but sometimes there's specific things that they need. But it's generally a bit more like, I'm just bored, I don't really know. But sometimes there's something that sort of made them kind of push them into looking for someone like me. So it might be that they've changed jobs. So quite often I also get people that have been promoted. So they might work in a sort of tech company or something that's sort of quite has a young work. All the other guys that work there are quite young and they can dress in what they want, but they sort of want to exert a little bit more authority with what they're wearing, but not kind of look like they're sort of not working at that company anymore without sort of alienating their team. They want to sort of step it up a little bit, so almost so they feel like they're in charge, rather than, they don't need to dress, they can dress in whatever they want usually, but it's almost more for them so that they feel kind of more confident and feel like they're the one that's in charge. So that's quite often. I do get people for weddings and stuff, but buying a suit actually is probably easier because you can go to shops and you've just got to find the suit that fits and get a shirt and a tie or whatever. So I feel like I don't get asked for that as much. It's always that in between smart casual bit. So it's jeans and t-shirts usually people can do, suits they can usually do. So it's that in between bit that they usually ask me about. And so there might be specific things. Yeah, and dating is one of the other ones, because quite often if guys have become single and that, especially if their wife or girlfriend was dressing them before, then suddenly they're like, oh my God, or they reevaluate everything and they've got to have their dating pictures done. And suddenly they sort of go, oh God, what am I wearing? And reevaluate it.
Yeah.
Wow. It's interesting you touched on suits there. It's where I need personal advice actually. I think as you get older, most men will get bigger, let's be polite. So suits off the peg tend to be cut that way. I guess I'm quite fortunate in that I've got big chest, but still a small waist. So I find getting suits, because suits are obviously done by chest size. So I put on the chest size, they're just hanging like loose around. Any tips there, or should I be really having to go made for measure?
No, I don't think you need to go to made to measure, but you can get them taken in quite easily. If they fit on the shoulders, you can get them taken in at the waist quite easily. So I think you should think about having alterations done. I'll tell you where it's quite good for that is Reese, actually. They tend to cut in that sort of much narrower kind of silhouette, that sort of for your sort of shape, because you're lucky. I mean, it looks great, but I agree, it sort of makes getting suits harder. And also at the moment, most shirts have gone quite they've gone quite baggy and sort of straight cut. So and the other place actually that are good for extra slim fit shirts, are very slim fitting, is Suit Supply. There's one in Vigo Street and there's one in Lime Street.
Okay,
their slim cut is slimmer than, say, someone like Charles Tyrrell. So but they're quite formal shirts, most of them.
I didn't think of that, because it is the same with shirts. You buy like some casual shirts for me, because you're going by the chest measurement again, then it's hanging like a tent around your waist. Yeah,
well, I know a good alterations person as well, so I'll pass you on his number.
Oh, fantastic.
You could get darts put in the back or just have them tapered in more. That's the best thing to do. But get them to fit on the shoulders, because you need it to fit here, and then just get them tapered in more.
Yeah.
So Sarah, like when you've got a client and you take them shopping and they're getting a few bits, are you kind of educating them through the process so that when you're not there, they have a real understanding of how they can dress themselves.
Yeah, so I do try and do that as we go along and sort of explain like why I think some things work, or that I think those sort of set of colours are best for them, or the shape, whether it's whatever it is for the shape, maybe that, or maybe the fact that they do need to get some tailoring, and that is a thing, you know. Quite often I think you need to, another stylist I used to work with a long time ago, she used to say you need to set apart about a quarter or something of your budget for alterations. And I think with menswear, you kind of, a lot of guys don't bother, and then they have the cuffs kind of hanging down here, or like trousers too long and they can't be bothered to get them altered, but stuff like that makes all the difference. But yeah, so I do try and educate them and try and sort of, we put outfits together, like whole outfits together, and I usually send them a list of outfits afterwards as well, so that they then know, and people tell me they refer to them for sort of, you know, the next 4 years or something. So they know, you know, I wear that jacket and that shirt with those trousers and those shoes, and then there's sort of different combinations. So that I think they find really helpful. And sometimes they haven't thought, like, they'd be like, oh, should I just wear, you know, black with that? Or they may go for the most obvious thing. And like, no, actually, look, you could put these colours. Look how well you go. And I get excited about that. And I'm sort of, you know, they might be changing. I'm like, look at this, look how perfectly they go. And they're like, I'm more excited than they are.
I need this. I need a female stylist out there to grab hold of me and write out my outfits, because I
know lots of female stylists.
Okay, we're gonna do a female stylist podcast at some point, so I can get all my questions answered as well. But
I've just got to say though, I think I might be unfair here, but I do feel men generally need more help dressing than women. Like I think women have a good idea of what suits their body shape, colours, etc. And I think you do see a lot of men not making great clothes choices.
Yeah, I think the thing is that it's just sort of, men aren't traditionally, they're not going to chat about it with all their friends. Like you probably, I don't know. I mean, Claire, I'm sure you did it with your friends. We all chat about what we're going to wear that night, and sort of, you know, maybe borrow each other's clothes when you were younger, and you'd talk about it and you'd look at fashion magazines, and whether or not you sort of continue to do that, you have done that and you've experimented. Whereas I don't think a lot of boys do that. I mean, maybe they do a little bit more now, but I don't think they generally do. And what I find out, so people say, oh, where do you get your clients from? And mainly it's just from Google, because I don't think guys don't sort of talk. So if you went into the office with a different set of clothes on, if you're a woman, the other ladies might go, oh, I love your outfit. Where did you get that? Oh, you look different. Whereas guys would maybe notice, they probably wouldn't say anything. So I don't tend to get that many referrals, because they're not talking about it.
Yeah,
so, I think I think that we've probably learned a lot without realizing it. And there's just not as much advice, is there, for men out there? There's not like hundreds of I mean, there's some magazines, but they don't tend to focus on what suits you or how to look for this, or what shape to wear or anything. It's sort of more like, oh, this is the latest drop of trainers or whatever.
Yeah, exactly that.
Do you ever get any partners, female partners in general, just turning around and saying, thank you so much, Sarah, for styling my other half?
I do, yeah. Partly because I think if it's a couple and they've got kids, they don't have time to do it. The partner doesn't have time to go, you know, at the weekends or whatever. It's going to be super busy in the shops. It's going to be a nightmare. And sometimes, occasionally, actually, I had someone the other day and his wife came along, and I was quite glad. Some stylists don't tend to like that, but I was glad she was there, because her husband just really hated shopping, and she was there to sort of encourage him as well and go, no, I like that. You need to try this as well. So we were ganging up on him a little bit, but, you know, in the end, we got the result. I think otherwise he just wouldn't have kind of gone through the whole process. But so she was really happy. She was like, you need that. You need these sort of clothes. That'll be really nice for when we go for dinner here and stuff. So it was really encouraging. And they are really grateful, and also the other thing that happens is if they go shopping together, they've told me they argue. So because the guy's sort of going to take it from a professional, but not sort of necessarily from his wife, because there's lots of other stuff going on probably.
Yes.
Well, both nodding there. We go shopping together, aren't we?
Yes, we are, to a degree. But I do try and point out other things to you. Like, James doesn't like green. You're not a real fan of green.
I just don't think it suits me as a colour.
But he's never even tried green on. But he always goes for blue. It's blue, electric blue, different variations of blue a lot. And black.
Works with my eyes.
It does work with your eyes, your lovely blue eyes. But I would like you to just, So I hear you, Sarah.
You too, yeah.
I hear you, Sarah, on that. The green might be. I'm going to mention this podcast next time we go out, and I'm going to say Sarah would say that you should probably try something new.
Yeah. Well, you do sound like most men going for like navy and blue and black and white. So I quite often like, right, we're banning ourselves from buying any blue on shopping trips because they just have everything's blue, and it's so hard to get away from, though. I've got to say, menswear, it's quite hard to, you know. Sometimes you go in a shop and you literally everything's blue, grey and white. So
yeah, that's true actually.
How do you know what colours suit different people? Is that just your naturally trained eye, or is there certain things about people's skin colours, eye colours, all that kind of stuff? How do you really work out what's going to look good on someone?
So it is based on your hair, skin and eye colour and the sort of combination of those things. So I do colour consultations. So I've got like loads of drapes, which are basically bits of plain fabric that you put around someone's neck. So for instance, I've got like that. So they're divided into kind of sets of colours. So I'll have four different shades of green, for instance, and I'll put them, when you compare them, you can see it much easier than if you're kind of going, you know, red, blue, orange, yellow sort of thing. Then you don't have that comparison when you're comparing different greens. So you might be comparing like a warm sort of more of a khaki green like you've got on, Claire, or like a bright green or a forest green or a sort of more of like a pastel-y sea green. When you compare them, and sometimes you sort of put it on, you're like, oh yeah, that's okay, and then you sort of peel them back again, and then you're like, oh my god, look how much better that one looks. And some of them, you know, you might sort of, it almost drags your face down, and some of them sort of seem to lift, and you look at your eyes and gives you a stronger jawline. You don't see any under eye shadows and stuff like that.
Wow.
It can make quite a big difference, actually. So some people, like James, you look like you actually have quite nice colouring because you look like you're quite tanned, so you can probably wear colours.
I couldn't help that. I couldn't help it. It's not fake, everyone.
That is okay. If it is, hey, who cares? Better than getting skin cancer. But yeah, so it's kind of based. So you sort of you don't want to go too closely kind of blending into those colours, but you want things that kind of match your natural colouring. So so for instance, I'm like cool coloured, so I'll wear like a cool pink rather than oranges, because oranges just don't suit me at all. So and I need to wear quite bright colours. So normally it's whether you're cool or warm, so whether you wear more the sort of blue based colours, or say blue based greens and purples and pinks and that sort of thing, whether you're warm, so that would be more sort of oranges and yellows and khaki type greens, whether you need to wear really bright colours, or whether you need to wear them a little bit more muted and sort of softened, and whether you wear quite light pastel-y sort of colours, or you need kind of more those sort of jewel type colours. So it's a combination of all those things that and then you should have a bit of a set of colours. So it gives you guidance, it gives you a sort of, and I find once you've done that with people, that they become more confident in choosing the colours because they know sort of the boundaries kind of thing.
Wow, I love this.
Yes.
Stuff I never even thought about.
And it's what it does. So you need, it's mainly what you're wearing here at the top, because that's what's against your face, which is what people are looking at. But then there's also other things with colours, like they draw your eye. So if you're like super top heavy and you've got a light top on and dark trousers, it's going to make you look even more top heavy. So actually what you want to do is wear a darker top and lighter trousers, and maybe the other way around. But yeah, and then you've got to fit it all together. So whether you need to wear those lighter colours against your face, etc.
Wow. There's a lot to it. Are there any current definite fashion no-nos for midlife men, or people that should not be doing?
Oh God. Well, I mean, personally, I don't, and none of my clients like logos. Everyone, there's so much stuff with massive big logos on, and I just don't like that. I think it looks a bit tacky. And most of my clients say, yeah, I don't like logos. I mean, I don't mind the sort of small ones that you get if on a t-shirt like Ralph Lauren or whatever. I don't mind those so much, but the sort of big emblazoned logos, I don't like sort of matching tracksuits. But I don't think most people wear those. But
people in the tracksuits that are just like covered with the logo, like repeatedly over tops and bottoms, and sometimes they have the bag as well.
Yeah, that all just feels a bit too much for me.
I am happy though that the skin tight jeans for men to be on the way out. The skin rolled up ankle ones, so the ankle braces.
Yeah. Let's put them in the bin for sure. Along with like really ripped jeans as well. I just think for an older guy, I sort of think they just look a bit tacky.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even the younger guys, I'd be like, my goodness. And some of the big ripped guys were trying to pull them over their huge quads, and I was like, how can you move?
So Sarah, how does it typically work when a client comes to you? What's the process?
So I've got 3 main services. So the first one is colour and style. So I would take my drapes and do what I was just explaining to you, and then talk about the shapes that they wear. And then also we look at style personality, which is quite an interesting one. So it's kind of whether you're more George Clooney or Jeff Goldblum or somewhere in between, Steve McQueen, whether you like kind of like sort of quite undone look, or whether you like a really classic look, or sort of you want to stand out a bit more. So we look at that. So then I can do a wardrobe edit at the same time, which is basically where I go through someone's wardrobe, I'll go through it with them, take out stuff that looks dated or worn or that they're just not wearing, which generally I find with men, they tend to have quite small wardrobes, and it could be that you want to sort of go, yeah, let's get rid of everything and start again, because what they tend to do is have things that they've just bought and worn, rather than women who have lots of clothes and you might find lots of unworn things in there. Men don't do that as much. I have here, I see you putting your hand up there, Claire.
I'm going to really try to go in a different style, and then I just forget.
So I can go through the wardrobes. If they have got a lot of clothes, then we'll put outfits together, because sometimes they'll be like, I love this jacket, I bought it, but I just don't know what to wear with it. So then we can put outfits together and I'll photograph them and send them afterwards. But the most popular service though is shopping, and sometimes people just skip straight to the shopping and won't even bother with the other 2 things. And so I will send them a questionnaire with, basic things like measurements, but also sort of likes and dislikes and kind of who they aspire to look like, that sort of thing. So I get an idea. I might chat to them quickly on the phone. Then I go to the shops the day before and prep. So I'll either put some things by in shops, or I'll just write notes on what we can find where, so that either they give me an idea of what they want, or if they sort of go, I just need a general update, then I might send them, or do a rough shopping list, like maybe, a smarter jacket, a more casual jacket, 3 t-shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, 2 trousers, whatever. And then once I meet them, then I'll just take them around to the shops, or we might go use a personal shopping space in like Harvey Nichols or somewhere like that. And so I'll show them what I found, and we'll start trying it on. And then we'll once we found a couple of pieces that we both really like and fit really well and everything, then we'll start to create outfits around those. And then hopefully at the end, we will end up with lots of different combinations. And then I usually write a list of outfits for them as well afterwards and send it to them, so that they've got a record of kind of how to wear everything. Yeah, and occasionally I'll send them links afterwards if we haven't, found something in the right size, or if there's like 1 or 2 bits, like maybe scarves or belts or something that we haven't got the exact one we need, but I know we can find it online, then I'll send them links afterwards as well. So yeah, that's how it works.
Process.
It does. James is getting very, very excited. I couldn't think. I've got a personal question for you, Sarah. Yeah. How did you get into this? Why are you passionate about this?
So I used to do styling on photo shoots. and I started assisting a menswear stylist, and I really liked menswear. I just found it really chilled, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And I quite like those sort of nuances of menswear between that sort of, oh, is this belt more a bit smarter than that belt, or just those sort of details. And actually looking back on it, my mum used to have a secondhand clothes shop. And I always used to be fascinated. She didn't have much menswear, but when she did, like, she might get like a tailcoat in or like a top hat. So actually you can see in the background, I've got a top hat. But so she used to give them to me because I just really liked them. I don't quite know why, but I just sort of was attracted to them. I just thought it was, and I liked kind of mixing maybe that sort of, when I was doing shoots, that kind of really old sort of traditional style with a more modern style. I just really enjoyed that because it sort of gave it a more interesting kind of look. So yeah, I've just always really liked it. I dress, I mean, I have got quite a girly shirt on, but usually I dress a bit more tomboyishly as well. So I appreciate men's style.
I do really. I would say what would you describe myself? I think I dress quite tomboyish sometimes. Like a bit
urban chic, I'd say.
There we are. Urban chic. Where's that come from?
Nice. Actually, that's one thing that's happening a lot in women's wear is, I don't know if either of you have heard of it, but I'm not sure who started it, but thinking of 3 words that describe your style. And I thought actually you could apply it to menswear as well. And one stylist, Alison Bornstein, I think her name is, she's in the States, I think New York, but I might be wrong. So she described it as, you pull everything out of your wardrobe that you wear all the time. And so you have a word for that. So it might be casual, whatever. Then you kind of think about like your Pinterest board or who you aspire to look like, and you have a word for that. So maybe it is more, I don't know, more dressy or tailored or feminine or something along those lines. Well, this is for girls, obviously. So for men, it might be sort of sharp or tailored or something like that. And then you have a word for how you want to feel. So you might want to feel cool or sophisticated or confident, or and then everything you buy, you try and kind of think, or you look for your wardrobe and you're thinking, if you put an outfit on, does this kind of, are these my 3 words? Is kind of giving that impression of my 3 words. So I think it kind of works for menswear as well.
Yes,
yeah, it does.
We're gonna have fun doing that.
I am. I'm going to think about that.
Yeah, I think me, that's quite. I'll take that.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. If people want to reach out to you and find out more of how to work with you, where can they do that? How can they do that?
Yeah, so my website is sartorialab.co.uk, and there's loads of blogs on there about various different aspects of style. Then I'm on Instagram, so it's the main places I hang out. So same, Sartoria Lab. So yeah, and I try and put reels of a little bit behind the scenes or things I've seen in the shops, or helpful tips. So yeah, that's the places I hang out.
In the show notes as well, Sarah. So we'll put the link and your social media handles in there as well. But really enjoyed this call. It's really
it's been fascinating.
It's been very different, and this is what we like. Midlife Mentors podcast. We like bringing lots of guests on to talk about all things midlife, including men's style. So it's very important. So thank you so much, Sarah, for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you, so drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.